haven't got a block. So we're going to start now. Welcome. We're starting with Nadi Shodhana breathing, alternate nostril breathing. We have 72,000 nadis in the body, the subtle energy channels. In other traditions, they're sometimes called meridians, and they're also referred to in acupuncture. I don't know anything about acupuncture, so I'm not going to talk about that. But in the yoga tradition, you have these energy channels in the body, and as well as your Sushumna Nadi, which goes up the central nervous system alongside your spine, you have the Ida and Pingala Nadis to the right and left of this. And if you've seen typical pictorial depictions of your chakras, your energy wheels within the body, then you quite often see these spiral threads going around the central line and intersecting at the chakras. And these are your Ida and Pingala Nadis. They arise from the base chakra, they terminate in your nostrils, and that's why alternate nostril breathing is said to balance the nadis. To do this breathing, take your first two fingers and place them on your Anja chakra, your brow chakra. We're going to use the thumb to block the right nostril and the fourth and or fifth finger to block the left nostril alternately, but not at the same time. So we begin. Place these two fingers here, or you can tuck them in. Block your right nostril with your thumb and inhale through your left. Block the left nostril and pause. Now release the right nostril and breathe out through your right nostril. Inhale through your right. Cover your right nostril and then release the breath through your left nostril. And that is one round. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. So keep going with that. I'll just explain while you're doing that the Ida and Pingala nadis are said to correspond to the right and left hemispheres of the brain, roughly, and have some of the same qualities. They're said to correspond to the yin and yang energies, your masculine and feminine traits, your sun and moon energy, fire and water, heat and cool. Too much of your yang energy can make you a little bit hyperactive. Too much yin energy can make you sluggish. Ideally, you want to balance that creative fire with the calming flow of water. So if you notice that one nostril is predominating, then just bring your focus to try and clear that nostril so that you feel that you are breathing evenly through both. So make this your last round. Remember, the round began by breathing in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, and out through the left. So next time you breathe out through the left nostril, release your hands into your lap, and you should feel nice and calm to begin. From a cross-legged position, Sukhasana or Siddhasana, inhale, float your fingertips up to the sky. Make sure that your shoulders haven't come up to your ears. Draw them back and down as you stretch the fingertips away. Lengthen the body and then just start to tip gently from the hips. So drawing your seated bones back, drawing your belly button in, trying to come down with a straight spine. At the point at which your seated bones want to lift off the mat, float your fingertips down to the floor. Inhale to lengthen the body here and exhale as you hinge further from the hip. Maybe your forearms come down. Keep going with that. Inhaling every time we lift and lengthen the front body and exhaling as we come a little deeper, stretching the hips. Draw your seated bone down. One more. Inhale for length and exhale here for depth and fold. Inhale, draw your fingertips in towards you, sit up straight, and we're going to twist now. Float the fingertips up, and as you exhale, take your right hand behind, left hand across the body, draw the shoulder blades together and look over your right shoulder. Inhale again, come to center, exhale to the left. So keep drawing that left shoulder back, keep drawing the right side of the ribs around if you can. One more to each side. Inhale to the center, exhale to the right. Parivrita Sukhasana. Inhale to the center and exhale to the left. Twists are very good for your internal organs and for stimulating the digestive system. We're coming up to standing now, any way you can. Stand at the front of your mat, have plenty of space behind you, have your feet hip width apart, stand up tall, soften the knees, take one foot back, line up your hips so that they're level. You're going to try and straighten both legs, and your back foot will probably be at about a 45-degree angle. It may need to come further round in order for your hips to line up. Or you may need to take your leg wide in order for your hips to line up. But that's what we're aiming for here, is to close the hips towards the short end of your mat. Inhale, lengthen the front body. And as you exhale, keeping your fingertips on your hips, come down with a flat back. So keep drawing your front hip back and your back hip forward in order to get your pelvis level. Press down through the big toe mound of the front foot and the heel and the outer blade of the back foot. If your fingertips come to the floor, inhale and lengthen your crown away from your tailbone here. Or you can bring your hands to blocks, or you can rest your fingertips on your shin or even your thigh. One more breath here for length, and then we're going to fold. So drape your rib cage over your front thigh, release your head and neck, and allow your crown to face down to the mat. Maybe your nose comes towards your knee, maybe it doesn't. Exhale here, relaxing the upper body. Inhale, press back into the fingers, your block or your leg, and then press down into your heels and see if you can come up with straight legs. Now bend the knees, lift the back heel, bring the back foot in, and we'll go on the other side. Same thing. Straighten both legs, adjust that back foot as necessary to get your hips level and facing forward. Straighten the knees, gently lift the quadriceps away from the knees here. Fingertips to the hip crease, up we go, and then we come down with a flat back. Keep drawing that front hip back and the back hip forward. Keep your big toe down. If you can drape your fingertips towards the floor or a block, then do so. Otherwise, the shin is fine. Slightly harder, actually, if you're balancing on the shin because you haven't got that contact with the ground with your hands. So if you have got blocks, very handy to have them under your hands here. Lengthen the spine on an inhalation. Exhale as you come into that rounded fold. Strong stretch for the hamstrings here. Release your head and neck as much as possible. Not quite releasing mine because my head mic gets all tangled up. Inhale, lengthen the body again, press into the legs, come up, bend, soften, come in. We'll do a quick sun salutation flow, and then we've got our downward dog sequence. Inhale, take the arms up and over, press the palms together. Exhale, come all the way into Uttanasana, deep forward fold. Bend the knees deeply, take your right leg back into plank. Lift your chest, draw your shoulder blades together, light in the fingertips, level in the hips. Press into both hands, take your front foot back. We're in plank now. Drop to your knees straight away if you need to. Otherwise, slight bend in the elbows, energy in the heels. Exhale, knees, chest and chin come down to the mat, untucking the toes, drawing your chest forward into Bhujangasana, Cobra. Draw your elbows together, lengthen crown from tailbone. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the bottom high to the ceiling, press your chest towards your thighs,
See if your heels will come down to that. Press into the finger pads to lighten off the wrist. Very slight bend in the elbows. Don't lock out here. Inhale, right foot comes all the way forward between your hands. Help it if you need to, make sure it gets all the way there. You need to grab hold of the ankle, but make sure that your ankle is under your knee here. Square off the hips. Exhale, bring the back foot into meet it, forward fold. Inhale, deep knee bend. Tuck the tailbone under, start to lift the chest, lift the arms. Press them up above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do all that on the left. Inhale, arms come up and over. Exhale, Uttanasana, intense forward fold. Inhale the left leg back into a lunge. Retain the breath as we come into Kumbhakasana, plank pose. Stay here if you can, drop to the knees if you need to. Now we're going to drop to the knees, untuck the toes, draw the chest forward and down, and then come into Bhujangasana. Exhale into downward facing dog. And we're going to stay in downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Try and get your heels down if you can. See if you can get your bottom higher. Bend the knees deeply. Press your chest towards your thighs and then start to work your heels back. You might find a different kind of stretch there. So we're going to come into variations on side plank. So those of you who are strong, come straight into plank, and then you can open up into side plank immediately. Lower options, drop to the knees, turn your left foot out 90 degrees, come into modified gate pose. That's your option. Intermediate option is from your side plank, bring your front foot down, acts as a buttress, so you can still lift, but you've got less weight in the shoulder. Advanced option, lift the leg, tree pose, whatever you like. Make the pose work for you to come out of it, back into plank, knees, child's pose. We're going to do that on the other side, same range of options. All fours, turn the right toes out, so we come into a 90-degree angle here, modified gait, or you can go straight from your plank into your side plank, staggering or stacking the feet. Front foot can come forward, top foot can come forward, becomes your front foot, or you can lift, your choice. And then hold for a couple more breaths, back into plank, down to your knees and rest in child's pose. So take your time. If you're loving your plank, and stay there a little bit longer. We're going to do a sequence that involves quite a lot of planks. So if you've got issues with your shoulders, be very, very careful, take the lower option. Otherwise, we're coming into downward facing dog. We're going to lift the right leg high into three-legged dog. We're going to exhale, draw the knee to the chest and round the back, coming forward and light on the back toes. Inhale back, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right elbow and hold. Option, bring the knee down to the mat if this is too strong. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee comes to the left elbow across the body. Further option of taking that foot underneath your left armpit and coming into fallen star, fallen triangle. So your side planks have prepared you for this, but if you don't like it, then keep the knee on the ground. To come back, we draw the knee to the chest, we round the back, we send the foot into three-legged dog, we exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale to all fours, exhale to child's pose. Stay here for a couple of breaths, or longer if you're not liking this sequence. Otherwise, inhale all fours, exhale downward dog. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest, hold. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, hold. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right elbow, hold. and hover, or take the foot down underneath your right armpit and float your right arm up to the sky. So use the blade of your left leg, use your back foot, push through your feet so that you're not relying on that shoulder. Come out of it, draw the hand down, knee to chest, hover. Three-legged dog, down dog. Inhale to all fours. Exhale, sit back. We go again when you're ready. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, three-legged dog. And this time as we bring the knee forward, you can hold her if you want to, but we're bringing the knee to the right thumb. Pigeon pose, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. So if you've got a block here under the right buttock, that might be helpful. You want to try and get the right buttock down towards the mat. Lift the chest, puff it out like a pigeon. Draw your shoulders together. Test your balance if you want to by bringing your hands to your heart. And then draw your forearms down towards the mat. Nice stretch of the front hip here. You might even want to stretch your hands away and bring your brow down to the mat. The choice is yours. Continue to breathe deeply. One more breath here. Press lightly into the fingertips. Draw yourself back up to upright and seated pigeon. And then press your hands into the mat. Tuck your back toes. Lift that right knee up to the chest again. One more of those lovely hovers. Press your shoulder blades out to the side. Slight bend in the elbows. And then three-legged dog. Feels like a release. Downward facing dog. Inhale to all fours. Exhale to child's pose. Take a couple more breaths here. Take a rest if you need to. We're going to do that on the left. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, downward dog. Press your heels down. Inhale, left leg comes up. Exhale, come and hover. And then draw that knee down to the inside of your left thumb. Adjust your hips. You're trying to create space here. If your knee doesn't like it, you have got an alternative, which is to come into eye of the needle pose here. Otherwise, we're in pigeon, testing your balance again by bringing the hands to prayer, drawing down to the forearms, drawing down and draping your body onto the mat. Powerful stretch for the front hip here. Press into the hands, tuck the back toe, come into that hover again, knee to chest, rounding the back, light on the back foot. And then we come into three-legged dog, downward dog, inhale, exhale, take a break. Breathing deeply, allow your breath to settle after the exertion of the planks. And then come forward onto all fours, cross your feet at the ankles, roll over the feet or come to a seated position any way you can. So here, you can take a normal cross-legged position if that suits you, or we're going to have a go at Agni Stambhasana. Agni means fire, Stamba is a log or a tree trunk, and this pose is meant to resemble logs stacked in a fireplace. So you're going to take your first log, otherwise known as your lower leg, and try and get that to line up with the long side of your mat, flexing actively through that foot. The other foot, also flexed, is going to stack over that shin. So two shins stacked, the feet as flexed as possible, the feet drawing towards the thighs as much as possible. Maybe a block under the buttocks will be helpful here. Adjust yourself as you need to, make the pose work for you. Don't be in agony here. It's a helpful pose going towards lotus. If you can do lotus, you'll find this easy. If you struggle to sit cross-legged, you won't be liking it very much. So adapt it to suit you. If you're loving it, and as long as you can keep your buttocks firmly glued to the mat, you can crease at the hips and start to bring the crown towards me. Use your breath, moving on your exhalation, extending on your inhalation. Inhale, come back up again. From here, we're going to move into cow face pose. So take your top foot around to the outer thigh, take the other foot around so your heels are coming towards your buttocks. Lift off the floor and then come back down again so that both buttocks are on the floor between your feet. Cow face pose. How is it a cow face? These are your cow's lips. And we're going to raise one arm up to form your cow's ear. So take your left arm up to the ceiling, open up the tricep here, have a stretch here, draw the fingertips down your back as much as you can without compromising your head and neck. Take the other hand out to the side, turn the thumb down so the back of the hand comes towards your back and maybe your fingertips will touch. Here is where the strap's handy, so if you've got it within reach, sling it over your shoulder, grab one end with the top hand and draw the other hand up towards the strap. If you've got a ponytail, you can cheat, or you can hold on to the t-shirt if you've got one that's got a bit of give in it. Here, you can stay here or you can take a fold. The choice is yours. Cow-faced pose, Gomukhasana. Inhale to come up and out of it. Release the hands gently. Maybe go on the other side. So unwrap the legs and wrap them around the other side as elegantly as you can. We do fire log pose first. So line up that shin with your mat, line up the other shin, line up the soles of the feet if you can with your thighs, adjusting your buttocks as necessary. So again, we're aiming to have a little pile, well, two isn't really a pile, is it? A log pile here in your grate. Lifting the spine, and as you hinge forward in your fire grate or fire leg pose, fire log pose, let's practice gratitude. Grateful in the grate. There's a horrible pun in there somewhere. But gratitude's a good thing to practice whenever you're challenging yourself so that you don't get frustrated about what you can't do. You remember to be thankful for what you can do. So be grateful that you have these limbs. Be grateful that they daily hold you up and enable you to live your life. This body facilitates the things that you wish to do in this lifetime, for which give thanks. Inhale to come out of it. We're going to move now into cow face pose. So move the feet towards the buttocks, lift yourself up and forward and readjust into that seat. Lift and lengthen. Take your right arm up, take your left hand to the elbow, open up here, stretching through the side here, drawing that right hand down the back. Take the left hand out to the side, employ your strap if you've got one, if you need one. Thumb down, back of the hand comes to the back. Maybe the fingertips meet, maybe they don't. Maybe one side is stickier than the other. Maybe you think you'll never get there and you just have a magic moment when the fingers touch, like the hand of God on the Sistine Chapel. Well, not really, but that sort of energy when you suddenly find that something that seems to have been so inaccessible comes into reach. And if you're not there, don't worry about it. Take the stretch. Forward bend if you want it. Use the breath. The breath is always going to help you. With every exhalation, release your egoic frustration. With every inhalation, give thanks. One more breath here. We're going to inhale to come up and we're going to open and release. So your hips should feel nice and open now. So we're going to unravel them, stretch them out to the side, adjust the buttocks if you can, flex the feet, lift and lengthen and come forward into Uttanasana. Inhaling and exhaling deeply. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen, draw the front body forward and then drape it forward. Use the breath. When you're ready to come out of it, inhale, draw the fingertips back up. Gently draw your legs back together, and we're coming up to standing for that standing balance that I promised you. So here, it might be easier to stand on a hard surface if your mat's very spongy. Vrikshasana, tree pose. So one leg is your tree trunk. Turn the other leg out, turn the knee out to the side, slide the foot up the calf, or you can keep the toes on the floor, or you can draw that foot right up to your inner thigh. Lightly tense your inner thigh, pressing against the foot to help you keep that foot there, which could be challenging if you're in slidey trousers. Should have thought about that. Open the knee to the side, hips stable and open, hands to your heart center. Transform it down. Find your ekagrata, your single point of focus. Fix your eye gaze on something to the exclusion of everything else. So if you wobble here, that's fine. Your tree trunk is connected into the ground. Put down your roots, be solid and firm in your base. And your crown, your branches, they can wobble as much as necessary. Balancing is a constant process of adjustment. It's not fixed. If you'd like to take your hands up above your head, then maybe you can part the fingers and take your eye gaze up there too. A couple more breaths here. Press the hands together at your heart center, release the raised leg. Bring your feet together. Transfer your weight into the other leg, open the hips, slide that foot up to the inner thigh, or to the calf, or keep your toes on the floor. Do not press your foot into the side of your knee. So wherever you are, either above or below the knee joint, not on the knee. Find a calm spot. Fix your eye gaze on the floor, on the horizon, on a real tree if you're looking out the window. Strength in your standing leg, softness in your branches, gentle breeze moving you around, and that's fine. It's not going to bother you. It takes a big storm to uproot a tree. You want to float the fingertips up, float them up, part the hands. You can look up if that feels good for you, or just look ahead. Find calm in this pose. Find length and strength, solidity and grace. And if you wobble, don't judge yourself. Draw the hands to your heart center and bring your foot down. Open your palms, face forward, take your feet to hip width apart. And we're coming into standing Shavasana. Close the eyes. If you need to keep your eyes open to balance, then do so, but otherwise, focus on your breath, just as you would in corpse toes on the floor. Bring everything into stillness. Watch the breath. Very slight softness in the knees. Equal weight through both feet. Pressing down through both your big toe and your little toe and both sides of your heels. A good connection with the ground here.
And from this good connection, energy flows all the way up to your crown and up to the heavens. So it is now 12:30. If you've got to dash off, move out of this pose with great care and gentleness. If you haven't got to dash off and you'd like to move to the floor to take the traditional Shavasana, and take a seated pose and continue your meditation. Give yourself that gift if you've got 5 or 10 minutes. Your body is stretched, your mind is calm. Reap the benefits of a little time. Wherever you are, wherever you're going. Namaste.